Are you thinking about self-publishing and want to know how long the process takes? Well, let me see if I can answer that for you. I'm Carla Green, founder of Clarity Designworks, where we provide book design services and publishing support to authors who want to self-publish a bookstore quality book. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And now let's get to that question. So how long does it actually take to self-publish? Well, that's actually a really big question, somewhat open-ended. And the truth is, it depends. Because the publishing process is a two-way street. Your book designer, as well as you yourself, the author. And you can also factor in other people in the process, perhaps your editor and illustrator if you are going down that path. But let's just talk about you and me for now, the author and the designer. I know you probably want more of a black and white answer. So I can tell you that you could give it the shape of 8 to 12 weeks. And that is if both parties are committed to the process. And that means both are available, ready to work, and hold up their end of the bargain. Let me break it down for you a little bit. So this assumes the writing is done. And you know, if you're writing yourself, that could be weeks, months, or even years before that part is done. So we're starting from a finished manuscript. Ideally, you're going to have it edited because the only page that doesn't need editing, to be honest, is a blank one. So yes, let's plan for some editing time. That can take 1 to 4 weeks, depending on the length of your book, the complexity of the material, the state of the manuscript. And you also probably want to line that editor up in advance so that that 1 to 4 week period is the actual editing time with some back and forth between you and the editor. If you're on a tight time frame, that can be simultaneous. Cover design can be happening at the same time, assuming you're settled on the title of your book and you're not hoping your editor can help refine that. So the 1 to 4 weeks, let's say the cover design is happening then too. So once the manuscript is completely edited, the interior formatting can begin. And I typically take 2 to 3 weeks for that process. Again, depends on the complexity. Are there a lot of photos? Are there other elements to the content that needs special treatment? So more complex takes more time. All right, so now we've got the layout pretty much done. Ideally, you need to allow 2 more weeks for a proofreading round. Maybe it's your same editor or part of their company that can go back and make sure all the editing changes got made properly, and that in terms of checking the layout, nothing new popped up in the process. Simultaneous with that round, we can be working on the back cover because you do need, beyond the front cover, if you're going to do a print book, you need the complete cover, which is one piece of artwork that is the front, the back, and the spine all together. Once it's proofread and the cover is complete, we spend typically about 1 week in ebook formatting, assuming you want an ebook version, which most people do now. And after that, you want to allow at least 2 weeks. I always recommend a little bit more, but again, tight timelines sometimes directed otherwise for the actual publishing part. And that's uploading your files to KDP for an Amazon or other distribution channels that we could talk about if you wanted distribution beyond Amazon. But that time is basically devoted to uploading files, automated review, ordering a physical proof copy and getting that. If you pay for expedited shipping, things can move faster. If you go with standard shipping, you might take 4 or 5 days to get that actual proof. So you can see that some aspects of this process are not in my hands, they're not in your hands. Some things will take time. And once you review that proof, if everything else has been done properly up until that point, you're probably going to say, it looks great, let's publish. But if you don't, then we need to add more time to make some more corrections, potentially get another proof if they were substantial changes. But going back to hopefully that's not the case, you click the publish button, and it's actually, if we're talking about Amazon, it's not instantaneous. It takes 24 to 72 hours after you click the publish button in KDP for your book to become live on Amazon. And even once it's live, there are aspects of your book listing that take a while to populate. So it is not like flipping a light switch on off. It takes a little time, and you need to be patient for a few days for all the details to show up. So hopefully that gives you a sense of how much time to allow if you want to move in sort of the quickest way possible. And of course, it can take much longer. As a quick example, I just finished a book for somebody that we ripped through that whole process in actually just a few weeks because her manuscript was totally ready, completely edited. We didn't even have to have that phase. And she was also had a very tight timeline with a delivery date that she was aiming for. At the same time, I have another book that's been on my project list for several months. So that's what I mean about it being a two-way street. It takes you and me and whatever timelines we need to work on to make it happen. I hope that helps. Feel free to reach out if you have a book in mind, if you have questions, and thanks so much.